up, everybody, and welcome to the 5th episode of the Blueprint of Blue Collar Success. My name is Gavin Robinson, and in this video we're going to be going over today, we're going to be talking about you getting to the next level of your career, which is journeyman. You have completed your apprenticeship, you're now a journeyman, you're making full scale, you're going to be in charge of some jobs, you're going to be on some bigger scale jobs with more responsibility than you've previously had, and so these are some of the tips and things that you're going to need to progress through this next stage of your career. The first thing is not to be afraid of this whole new set of responsibilities that you'll be taking on. Trust me, I've been doing it for over 10 years now, and I'm far from knowing everything. I'm a foreman now, and I don't know everything. You have a long career ahead of you, and you will always want to be learning, so don't be afraid of any insecurities that you might have at this point. You still have a lot to learn. Don't be afraid to still ask questions from people that have a lot more experience than you. I constantly turn to my father and other foremen that have been doing this 20, 30, even 40 years because they have seen a lot more than I've seen. They may have run into some things that I might just now be seeing for the first time and have the information that you need to get the job done, which is kind of one of the new skills that you're going to want to learn is how to find information that you don't already have. If there's an issue that you don't know the solution to, find out how to find the solution. It's a lot more valuable to say, I don't know, let me find that out for you, than come up with some bullshit answer and it not turn out to be proper information. So definitely learn how to find new information even after you've become a journeyman. You're also going to want to kind of decide what kind of worker you want to be. Now, this may change throughout the course of your career, but it's a good time to really look at yourself and say, do you want to be the kind of person that just shows up, takes orders, and gets the job done, which is an extremely respectable position to be in because you can't get a job done with nothing but leaders. You have to have those hard workers that go in and get the job done. But the other thing that you might want to look forward to is if you do enjoy taking control and being the leader of a situation, you really want to start developing your leadership skills to go to that next level over the course of the next 5, 10, 15 years to become a foreman. More new skills is you want to learn really how to talk to people. You're going to be talking to customers, you're going to be talking to the office staff, you're going to be talking to general contractors, superintendents, people like that, delivery people. You're going to have to just learn to communicate with lots of different type of people, especially people either on your crew or on the job that you don't get along with. You're going to meet people that you don't like and people that just don't like you. But you still have a job to do, and you're going to have to learn to get that done. There's all kinds of different people in the construction industry. I work with people all the time that are more country people who live out in the rural areas and, ride horses and stuff like that. That's 100% not me. I kind of grew up in an area like that, but I'm more the inner city. I like to play video games, go out, watch football and stuff like that. So you have to learn how to mesh with people who aren't the same as you to get the common goal accomplished. And so just because you don't really like somebody doesn't mean you don't have to put your head down and work with them and get the job done. And learning how to do that is going to make you a very effective installer and a professional person. Another skill that you're going to want to learn is how to take charge. Even if you're not looking to be the head person in charge, you might be somebody's right-hand man. I know I just got finished with a job where I had up to 30 people on my job, and I can't sit there and talk to every single person throughout the course of the day and make sure everything's going on. So I had 3 or 4 people under me that I considered kind of my next top level guys that I would say, here's the things that we have to get done. Make sure the 5 or 6 people with you are getting their things done. And so if you're in that right-hand man position, you're going to have to learn to take the orders and make sure the people under you are getting those things done, because just because you're not taking on the most responsibility, you're still going to have a large amount of responsibility. Also, when you're at this stage, whether you're on a big job and you have a few people you're working with, or maybe it's just you and an apprentice, at this point now that you're journeyman, you're responsible for making sure that their work is done correctly. So you can't just turn around if something gets messed up. You can't turn around and just say, well, that was my idiot apprentice doing that. Well, you're responsible for that idiot apprentice, so you better make sure they're doing their shit right. Next, you will want to focus on organizing stuff, making sure there's the right amount of materials, whether you're top in charge. It's up to you to make sure you have the materials so the job doesn't come to a screeching halt because you're out of one material that you need to keep the job flowing. But also, if you're one of those people working, you need to learn to give that information to the person in charge so they can make sure that they get more stuff out of there. I know one situation we run into is when we run our vinyl base, all of a sudden 5 guys will come up to you and tell you, hey, we're out of glue. And now the job has just come to a screeching halt when somebody should have came up and addressed the fact that, hey, we're down to our last few buckets. We might want to get more out here. So when we do run out of this, we have new stuff coming in. The job keeps flowing and stuff like that. But that's just one example, and that kind of thing can happen in many different types of trades. So make sure not only you're keeping track of information, you're also providing the information from the people that do have to get that kind of stuff out to the job. You're also going to need to keep track of your time and your apprentice's time if you have them working with you. I know a lot of companies work on the honor system and stuff like that. You turn your time in each week. Some of them might have punches. You want to keep that kind of time organized so when it comes time to turn that stuff in, you have the correct information. You're not screwing your company, or you're not screwing yourself if you don't keep track of your stuff. Also, you want to learn how to keep track of extra work that you're doing on the job. I know a big thing that happens is there might be some stuff that wasn't in your contractual obligation of work or your scope of work that you might have to do, and you need to keep track of the amount of time and materials that you have in those so that you can make sure your company gets properly paid for that extra work being done, because your business can't stay in business if they're constantly giving out free stuff all the time. You also want to learn how to keep track of the tools. If a job's coming to the close, you'll want to keep track of that so you can get that stuff get sent back to the office, as well as getting the proper tools sent out to your job that you need to be productive. You also want at this point to start teaching some people, so you have quite a few, 4 or 5 years under your belt, and you're going to have more apprentices coming up under you, or even people working alongside you where you may have strengths where they have weaknesses and vice versa. Always be exchanging that kind of information, because it makes you look intelligent, and it also builds respect. If somebody has a weak point and you go out of your way to teach them, they're going to have respect for you for doing so, and they might even be able to provide you with some information that you didn't previously have. Also, you want to make sure you're teaching people because it reaffirms information. You may be on autopilot doing something and go to teach somebody something and be like, wow, I haven't been doing this the way I'm really supposed to be doing it, and will actually improve your quality of work. Also, like I said, it just makes you a valuable person to have on the job when you go out of your way to make sure everybody else is doing the top quality work that they can be doing. So those are some tips now that you are a journeyman. Like I said, don't be afraid if there's stuff you don't know. You got plenty of time to learn, and the type of person that goes out of their way to improve their weaknesses is the type of person I would want on my job. You always want to make sure that you're doing everything you can to improve yourself. Also, make sure you're focusing on all these new skills that you can learn and hone in on them. Think about what you want to do now. Do you want to be just that hardworking right-hand man, or the kind of person that gets on the job to get stuff done? Or do you want to start stepping up and make yourself outshine to step into that leadership role in the next few years? Also, don't be afraid to teach people stuff. I know one thing that a lot of people tend to think is, well, if I teach this guy stuff, he's going to put me out of work because he's a harder worker. Well, maybe that should make you work a little fucking harder, because like I said in one of my previous videos, think of everything as a competition. If you're doing everything you can to make your work the best, you're going to have a good job. But don't be afraid to make other people step up and improve themselves too, because that makes you respected and valuable. So the next video I'm going to be doing is the grind. It's going to be one of my more important videos that I really look forward to putting out. It's going to be putting in the hours, doing everything you can to really outstand. It's going to be more for those people that want to step into a leadership role eventually in their career. So I'm looking forward to doing that one. If you guys found any value in this video, be sure to subscribe, follow my channel, tell anybody else that you think might get some value from this, and I will see you guys next week. Talk to you later.